Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to write multiple lines to a text file. So, let's get right into it. Let's use the code that we used in the previous tutorial. If you have not watched that tutorial, I would highly suggest taking a look at it. You will learn more about the tools that we will be using within this video. Let's use the blueprints that we used for the method from the last tutorial in this new method. We are going to be writing a write file method, but it will be writing multiple lines to the text file. To do this, let's create a new public static void, and it will be called write file. Now, the reason this does not invoke an error is because the parameters are different. You might be looking at the names of each method and say to yourself, these names are the same. Why isn't the computer getting confused? Well, it's because the computer is able to differentiate between these two methods based on the parameters specified. So, the parameters are going to be the path to the text file and the data we will be writing. So, let's take a look at the second parameter, and this is going to be the key difference. The main problem with writing multiple lines to the text file is that we want to be able to specify as many lines as we want while specifying which data goes on each line. This parameter may look confusing, but all it is an array that's specified by this 3 dots, meaning it is an array with no bounds. Therefore, when we invoke this parameter, we can write as many strings as we want, and it will all be stored within this one array. Let's create our buffered writer. If you do not know what this is, please watch the last video. And let's throw in IO exception. Of course, if you do not know what this is, please refer to the last video. And let's create an enhanced for loop. I will be changing the name of the parameter to all data, simply because the computer gets confused between the array and the string object. If you do not understand what an enhanced for loop is, I would suggest taking a look at Google and figuring that out, because it is fairly important. And also do some practice programs with it. But in a nutshell, an enhanced for loop is a for loop that is specifically designed for an array or an array list, any sort of list. The translation to this is for each string, and we are calling each string data, within this array list, all data, we are going to call whatever code is within these brackets. So, we are first going to be writing each line. So, for each data, for each iteration, we're going to write a line, and that line is going to be specified within the parameters, and in this case, it is the data. And then we are going to create a new line. And then we're simply going to flush and close. So, to go over what we just did, we created a new buffered writer with the path, just like we did in the method from the last video, episode 1. Then we created a for loop, an enhanced for loop, that iterates through this array list, through this array called all data, and each index in this all data array represents one line in the text file that we will be writing. So we iterate through all the indexes within this array, and per iteration we will be writing the associated data and then creating a new line to make way for the next set of data that we want to write on a new line. So let's go back to the main method and delete the code that we created in the previous video. To replace it, we will be writing file loader dot write file, and then we want to specify the path, test file.txt, and then we want to specify the data. Now, as you can see, if we hold down Control and then left click on this write file method, it will bring us to this first method because we are only specifying one string parameter, and therefore it is not referring to multiple parameters which will be stored within this array. But the moment that we add a new string, okay, that seems a little ominous. I will change that. Then, when we hold down Control and left click this write file method, it will bring us to this newly created method with the array. So, this parameter, this type of parameter can only go at the end of a parameter's specification, because then, right here, we can say as many lines as we want. So all of these strings will be stored in separate indexes within that all data array. So let's run this program. If the file does not exist, it will create a new one. And as you can see, it wrote every single line I specified in the parameters. And that is how you create a method that writes multiple lines to the text file specified within the parameters. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good day.